Welcome, everyone, to the CanAsian Arts on the Move, this Asian Heritage Month Artist Showcase in its third edition. My name is Johnny D. Trin, coming to you from Vancouver. I'll be one of your hosts tonight's festivities. I'm so excited to be joined by my co-host, Delara from Montreal. Salut, Delara. Ça va?
Salut Johnny et salut tout le monde. Hi everyone. Nous sommes très heureux et heureuses de présenter cette troisième édition de Arts CanAsie en mouvement. Je m'appelle Dilara, je serai votre seconde MC et traductrice pour ce soir. Merci beaucoup de nous rejoindre ce soir.
CanAsian Arts on the Move is a national collaboration between organizations dedicated to the preservation, amplification, and representation of Asian artists across Canada. We're a collective of artists and organizations from Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg, Toronto, and Montreal. We're in some unprecedented times. Discovering what it means to be Asian in Canada right now, while honoring the history that brought us here. There's a necessity in recognizing our history embedded in the history of Indigenous peoples. And so in solidarity and honoring the stewards of this land, we want to acknowledge that we're speaking to you from the ancestral unceded lands of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh Nation in Coast Salish territory in the west, and in the east, in the Ganahaga Nation, where Delara is. We will also acknowledge the lands and territories of our artists as their works are presented.
Art CanAsie et En Mouvement est une collaboration nationale entre différentes organisations situées à Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg, Toronto et Montréal. Ces organisations se consacrent à la représentation des artistes asiatiques à travers tout le Canada et à l'amplification de leurs pratiques. Nous vivons une période sans précédent où nous découvrons ce que signifie être asiatique au Canada aujourd'hui, tout en honorant les histoires personnelles et collectives qui nous ont amenés ici. Il est nécessaire de reconnaître nos histoires qui s'entremêlent avec celles des nations autochtones. En solidarité et en hommage aux ancêtres et aux gardiens et gardiennes de cette terre, nous reconnaissons que nous vous parlons aujourd'hui depuis les terres ancestrales, non cédées et traditionnelles des nations Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, en territoire Coast Salish sur la côte ouest et de la nation Ganigaha à l'est. Nous reconnaissons également les terres et territoires où sont situés les artistes en ce moment, ainsi que les peuples qui en prennent soin. Johnny, let's give a shout out to all the organizations that have helped us put this event together.
Bunny Day sounds good. We actually have some folks with us tonight. So if you're an organizer, please turn on your cameras. But we have folks from
Calgary.
All right. And Edmonton in the Philippines Arts Council.
Montréal, Festival Accès Asie.
And Toronto's InnerGenerational.
Vancouver, Pacific Canada Heritage Center, Museum of Migration.
Oh, that's Letitia and Pat. Hello. And then the Winnipeg Asian Heritage Month Society of Manitoba.
Canada-wide livestream team. Poetry Lab, and producers.
Great. And of course, the CanAsian Arts Network. Hey, everyone. So many change makers across the country. Great. But now we want to share a special message from CanAsian Arts Network's Shone C. Take it away, Sean.
Dorénavant, nous allons partager un message spécial de Shone C.
Bonsoir. I'm Sean C., speaking with you today from Amiskwaci Waskahikan, known as Edmonton Treaty 6 Territory and Métis Homeland. As the CanAsian Arts Network's community growth consultant, I'd like to welcome you to CanAsian Arts on the Move. The CanAsian Arts Network is honored to produce this year's edition. We are grateful to Festival Accès Asie, who instigated both On the Move and the CanAsian Arts Network, and to the Asian Heritage Society of Manitoba for hosting last year's National Artists Showcase. Thank you to all the talented artists who've contributed to this event and everyone joining us today. The CanAsian Arts Network is a pan-Canadian community of artists, cultural workers, and organizations. Our national digital platform is a free tool funded by the Canada Council for the Arts, which showcases artists, their work, events, and news, while also having community spaces for artists and industry representatives, providing resources, tools, and opportunities for networking and creation. Our goal is to signal to the arts industry that Canadian Asian artists make vital contributions to the cultural landscape, and we urge supporters to commit to improving diversity and representation by leveraging our tool to connect with the Asian Canadian arts community. To join and support us, go to CanAsianArts.com. Merci, and have a great evening.
Ce message de chantier vous parle d'un Musquoa-Wassican, connu sous le nom d'Edmonton, territoire du traité 6 et la patrie des Métis. Chantier est le consultant de la croissance communautaire du réseau artistique CanAsie. Il aimerait vous souhaiter la bienvenue à CanAsian Arts on the Move. Le réseau artistique CanAsie est honoré de produire l'édition de cette année. Ils expriment leur reconnaissance au festival Accès Asie qui a lancé à la fois On the Move et le réseau artistique CanAsie et à la Société de l'héritage asiatique du Manitoba pour avoir accueilli la vitrine nationale des artistes l'an dernier. Merci à tous les artistes talentueux qui ont contribué à cet événement et à tous qui nous rejoignent ce soir. Le réseau artistique CanAsie est une communauté pan-canadienne d'artistes, de travailleurs culturels et d'organismes. Notre plateforme numérique nationale est un outil gratuit financé par le Conseil des arts du Canada qui présente des artistes, leurs travaux, des événements et des nouvelles tout en offrant des espaces communautaires pour les artistes et les représentants de l'industrie, offrant des ressources, des outils et des opportunités de réseautage et de création. Notre objectif est de signaler à l'industrie des arts que les artistes asiatiques canadiens apportent une contribution vitale au paysage culturel et nous encourageons les partisans à s'engager à améliorer la diversité et la représentation en tirant parti de notre outil pour se connecter avec la communauté artistique canadienne d'origine asiatique. Pour nous rejoindre et nous soutenir, rendez-vous sur CanAsianArts.com. Merci et bonne soirée. C'était le message de Shanti. Maintenant, sans plus attendre, place aux performances. Nous avons la grande chance d'accueillir des artistes de classe mondiale qui sont impatients de partager leur travail avec vous. Après chaque représentation, les artistes nous rejoindront pour une brève discussion sur leur travail. Tous et toutes nos artistes font partie du réseau artistique CanAsie. N'hésitez pas à consulter leur profil sur notre site Internet pour en savoir plus.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Delara. Okay, we're almost ready to start. To all the viewers out there, if you're experiencing any lag or drop signal, check the page for instructions, this actual web page. You may want to try refreshing your browser or try copying the link into a new browser and refreshing that. If you're still facing challenges, you can go to caffeine.tv/PoTV and watch directly and uninterrupted. This show will also be available on the CanAsian Arts YouTube in the near future. After each performance, we'll be joined by artists for a quick chat about their work, but all of our artists are available with their profiles on the CanAsian Arts Network, so check out the profiles there.
On va commencer bientôt, mais juste vous aviser que si vous avez des problèmes techniques ce soir, on vous conseille d'essayer d'actualiser votre navigateur ou sinon de copier le lien et aller essayer dans un nouvel navigateur. Si les problèmes persistent, allez sur caffeine.tv/PoTV pour voir la vitrine sans interruption. La vitrine sera par la suite publiée sur YouTube à venir. Ce soir, après chaque performance, on va rejoindre les artistes pour une courte discussion sur leur travail. Et si vous voulez en savoir plus, rendez-vous au site du réseau artistique CanAsie pour retrouver leur profil.
First up, we've got some poetry coming from Toronto. Curated by our partners at InnerGenerational, led by Anto Manming Chan. This first piece of spoken word poetry is set by the 2023 Canadian Individual Poetry Slam runner-up, Lisa Shen.
Commençons en beauté avec de la poésie venue tout droit de Toronto, organisée par nos partenaires d'InnerGenerational sous la direction d'Anto Manming Chan. Cette première performance est une série de poèmes sous forme de littérature orale, aussi connue sous le nom de Spoken Word. Lisa Chen, vice-championne canadienne de slam individuel de poésie de 2023.
Lisa joins us from the traditional lands of the Mississauga of the Credit First Nations, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron-Wendat of the Wyandot Nations.
Lisa nous rejoint depuis les terres traditionnelles des Mississauga, de la Première Nation de Crédit, de la Confédération Haudenosaunee, des Hurons-Wendat et des Wendat.
Hi, my name is Lisa Shen, and I am a writer and spoken word artist based in the Toronto area. I'm also the current Youth Poet Laureate of the city of Mississauga, and I'm really happy to be here today representing InnerGenerational as well as the Greater Toronto area. And thank you to Anto Chan for having me. And yeah, really happy to be doing this for Asian Heritage Month in general because I think oftentimes, at least in poetry, I feel like I don't see as many Asian artists because we often come from households that really emphasize academics and the sciences over the arts, and I think that trickles down through the generations. So yeah, I think it's great that we're able to like uplift Asian artists in this way. And I'm just gonna go into my first poem. How do the orcas know to trace the shores of the Pacific? From north to south, never ending, between California and the Vancouver coast, clicking and singing to their sisters, dorsal fins straight and gleaming in the western mist, white eye patches reflecting morning glow, eating the turtles and seabirds along the way, beautiful killers. After his mother left, I watched my cousin, a 5-year-old boy, drift from city to city, Hangzhou to Yangmeiling to Chiang Mai. In the quiet of the night, across thousands of miles of unforgiving Atlantic, I can hear the faint sound of my uncle crying an ocean over his son's heart. Each year, from 2 floors below, drifts the sound of my father's worried tongue, trying to stitch them a passport to Canada. But the orcas know no borders, do not care for statehood marked by ink on paper. They glide silent through the golden waves, nomads of the sea, as if each drop is their own. I want to ask their watery bodies if they have ever felt the tug of a homeland, or if they live for this kind of roaming. I want to add my voice to the underwater song and whisper, can a boy find a home in wandering too? Thank you. So that's a piece that I wrote after my uncle and my cousin, who have been moving and migrating for as long as I can remember, and I think that's a big part of life for a lot of immigrant families is movement. So thank you for being here with me for that piece. I'm going to move on to my next poem, which is called Carp/Liu. And this was a really interesting one to write. I wrote it about a year ago when I was like reading about Asian carp, which I don't know if you know this, but they're like this huge like invasive species, and they're a big problem in the Great Lakes, as well as like the river system in the States as well. And I was reading about these carp, and I couldn't help but notice like so many similarities between the fish and like the way we think about immigrants or Asian immigrants. So it was really interesting diving a bit more into the history of like specifically Chinese Canadians in Canada through writing this piece. And I hope you enjoy it. In the 1970s, Asian carp were brought from China to North America to control unwanted vegetation in farms and sewage lagoons. They soon escaped and became invasive, spreading across the continent. In the 1880s, over 15,000 Chinese workers were brought to the west coast of Canada to construct the most dangerous part of the Canadian Pacific Railway. Hundreds died from cold, starvation, accidents, and illness. 1. All I can say is that there were so many fish to catch and bring back home, and how they leapt out at us from the waters of the Yangtze, falling into our laps. All I can say is that I was searching for something better than the waters from which I leapt. When they called for railway workers in British Columbia, the locals signed up in mere dozens. 2. A carp can release 300,000 eggs in a single spawning session. Their hatchlings disperse like shrapnel. Yellow the rivers, choke out the ecosystem. When the rail work ended, many settled in British Columbia and were soon joined by other Chinese migrants. Now yellow bodies have spread over the hills of Vancouver. 3. To properly gut a fish, you must first slice it open at the belly. Remove the gills, then the swim bladder. This is an art that requires practice. To disembowel and return with your hands clean. Sen. To gut a yellow body requires no practice. Survival speaks in English. Chinatowns can only keep in so much. 4. A fish can do nothing but open and close its mouth silently. Can I blame them for wanting me wet and open and silent? 5. If you find a carp gasping on the bank of a river, you are required to kill it. When they drove the last spike into the railway ground, every single Chinese Canadian was cleared out of view. Thank you. So yeah, total blank there, sorry. But yeah, like that's a piece that was really interesting to write. And if you wanted to see the text of that written out, actually, it is on my website, lisashen.ca, under the publications. It was like the first piece I wrote that was like a bit more pagey, and it's really interesting seeing it put out onto the page because it's kind of in 2 columns. You can see like the English Roman numerals compared to like the Chinese numbering. So yeah, feel free to check that out if that's something that you want to do. I only have 2 more pieces left for you. This next one is a short little piece. So I think and especially with COVID, we've seen this, you know, I feel like I recognize there's more to Asian heritage than just immigration, but like that's what all my poems are about, because like diaspora children. But yeah, I feel like part of coming from an immigrant household is dealing with not being able to see family members, especially maybe when they're sick. We've definitely seen this with COVID. This is a little poem that I wrote about, you know, being like an early teen or child and having to cope with that. Years ago, my grandfather got sick on one of his annual visits to China. A fever that shook the body, a throat that tightened and tightened until light could not find its way out. My father flew out to see him. Before he left, I palmed a stone from our garden, a single character painted onto its gray wing. Hope. The thing with feathers flew all the way across the sea in my father's back pocket. Neither made it in time. My grandfather took his last breath hours before touchdown. Somewhere over the ocean, a bird dropping like a stone mid-flight. Somewhere west of the horizon, a child's heart shattering against the cliffside. Thank you. So for the last piece that I'm going to do for you all today, and like usually if this is in person, I'm like, okay, raise your hand if you have like a second language at home, and like the entire audience is like me. So like I feel like that's a common experience in the Greater Toronto area, and I've certainly grown up with multiple languages at home, like, you know, like Mandarin is like I suppose you could call it my mother tongue. This is sort of a poem I wrote about that experience. It's going to be my last piece for the set. Technically speaking, Mandarin is my first language. I didn't learn English until the age of 3, so my tongue is flowerbed. Planted a colonial seed at the base of my throat, thorns snaking out through my teeth. The old language buried beneath the dirt, so my tongue is erasure, is wiping blank the slate. My mouth, a graveyard where heritage lays down to die, so my tongue is a tombstone I cannot read. My tongue is missing vocabulary, all the words I don't know how to say in English and all the ones I can't pronounce in Mandarin. So my tongue is unable to tell you what I had for dinner last night. My tongue is my grandmother's silence at the dining table. The family gathers around, takes a seat on each tooth. My tongue is a whip lashing at the soft of my mouth. I say, I love you, and taste fresh blood. So my tongue is accessory to murder, is licking clean the crime scene. In Mandarin, directions start from east instead of north. So my tongue is broken compass, spinning needle, does not know which direction home is. My tongue is transatlantic jump rope, is skipping over 2 cultures of expectation. My tongue is beached whale, flapping fin, bycatch in a net of borderlines. My tongue is being told to hold itself when we visit China, is afraid of letting slip where it comes from. My tongue is not being able to speak to my Lala without my mother as interpreter, is forgetting how to spell my legal name. My tongue is disappointment in 2 languages, is bilingual in apology. My tongue is writing poetry about my Chinese heritage in English, is salt-stained pages and drowning, my mouth filling with seawater. But my tongue remembers, too. My tongue is clumsy toddler, is learning to walk on unsteady legs, tripping over itself but always getting back up. My tongue is messy cartography, reading the map upside down, walking the wrong way down every street but learning to ask for directions. My tongue is toothy grin, a piano with missing keys, hitting all the wrong notes but still practicing. My tongue is bad karaoke at the after party, is belting out songs without knowing any of the lyrics. My tongue is midnight flash mob, is joining in without learning the choreography. My tongue is improv, is walking into rehearsal without reading its lines. My tongue is composing its own way to sing. Thank you. Yeah, so that's my set for this event. Thank you again so much to InnerGen as well as CanAsian for organizing this event. Again, my name is Lisa Shen. If you would like to follow my work and also like as Youth Poet Laureate, I try to post resources and just like generally try to be a like a mentor and a resource really for anyone in the Greater Toronto area who is like interested in poetry. So if you want to see like event opportunities, you know, publication opportunities, like some like, you know, like small paid stuff, feel free to follow me on Instagram. It's Lisa Shen, ITSLISASHEN. And again, you can also learn more about my work on my website as well. So I'm going to end it there. I hope you enjoy the rest of the event and have a great evening.
That's amazing, Lisa. Thanks so much. We're so inspired and proud of your work. The poems about languages so resonate with so many of us. And speaking of languages, we've got, you know, English and French tonight. So we're going to ask these questions in English, French, and we'll also do some paraphrasing and translation, okay? So we'll just give ourselves some time for Delara there. But yeah, Lisa, please tell us a bit about your practice, what you're working on right now, like what's on the horizon for Lisa Shen.
Merci beaucoup, Lisa. Pouvez-vous partager avec nous votre art et vos projets à venir?
Cool. Yeah, I was like, yeah, you can translate in French. Immediately forgets. Yes, thank you for that. Yeah, so it's really busy. It's a really busy time. A lot of exciting stuff happening. As I mentioned, I've recently been announced as Youth Poet Laureate for my city. So doing a lot of stuff with that. Like right now, if you look at my Instagram story, I've been highlighting some emerging poets who I'm a really big fan of, emerging Asian poets for Asian Heritage Month. So yeah, trying to do a lot of leadership stuff, visiting schools. Also, if you're queer, June is like the month for events. So a lot of stuff happening in June for Pride Month, a lot of features and things like that, and some workshops. The last thing is that I'm working a lot on the new spoken word organization for the city of Mississauga, which is Saga Poetry. We had our launch a few days ago. It was incredible. Like so many people came out. I could not have asked for a better event, and just doing a lot of work to keep that going and create a great experience for the community. So yeah, really busy, but really enjoying all of it.
And what's your Instagram? Sorry.
Yes, so my Instagram is It's Lisa Shen, ITSLASASHEN.
Parfait. Lisa nous a fait part justement de ses projets à venir. Elle nous encourage fortement d'aller voir ses highlights sur Instagram où elle fait part de ses projets à venir, surtout pour le mois de juin, pour célébrer le mois Pride. Donc, beaucoup de projets à ce sujet. Merci beaucoup, Lisa. Thank you, Lisa.
Merci.
Merci. Maintenant, accrochez vos ceintures, nous nous envolerons sans plus attendre pour Winnipeg afin de voir de la danse. Nous venons d'avoir un bel aperçu de quelques histoires contemporaines. Passons maintenant au traditionnel avec une performance de Magdaragat Philippine. Nous vous proposons une représentation de Tinikling de Winnipeg, territoire du traité 1, cœur de la nation métisse.
Thanks so much. Coming up next, we want to fly over to Winnipeg for some dance. We just had a beautiful taste of some contemporary stories. Let's go traditional with a performance from Magdarat, Philippines, with the performance of Tinikling from Winnipeg, Treaty 1 territory, heartland of the Métis Nation.
CanAsian Network, on the move, introduces Magdaragat Philippines Incorporated from Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Magdaragat is a non-profit Filipino cultural organization dedicated to the promotion of Philippine culture through song, dance, and drama. Founded in 1976 by Dante C. Benaventura, Magdaragat is a Filipino word meaning voyagers of the seas.
Tinikling is the most popular dance of the Philippines. Dancers imitate the tickling bird's legendary grace and speed by skillfully maneuvering between large bamboo poles that are clapped in time to music.
With that being said, Magdaragat presents
Tinikling!
That was so fun and beautiful. Those colors are amazing. I would have tripped so many times. That's awesome. Please welcome Goldie Garcia. Goldie, welcome. Please
Hi.
tell us about your creation process and how long you've been, your organization has been running and dancing in Canada.
Our group has been since 1976, so that's been 47 years. And I myself have been in the group for 39 years. And Tinikling is just one of those dances that we start at a very early age. Of course, there's different, the one that you saw is for the most advanced. When the children first learn it, they are learning the very basics, not as fast as the one that you've just seen. And as the older that they get, we get the kids to get more creative. And and they get to start to add their own spin of movements that they like to do, or what can they do, right? Most are more agile, more flexible, and so that's what we are.
Thank you, merci. On a demandé à Goldie Garcia par rapport au processus créatif et depuis combien de temps est-ce qu'elle danse au Canada. Elle nous a fait part du fait que c'est depuis 1976 et ce type de danse est particulier puisque ça commence à la jeunesse, à l'enfance et plus les enfants vieillissent avec le temps, cette danse devient de plus en plus compliquée et plus spéciale aussi. Merci beaucoup. Thank you so much, Goldie.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing your work. It's just stunning. And thanks for continuing to honor and uphold our cultures, and our stories. It's so powerful. So we've had a taste of the Philippines, and I'm in the mood for some Chinese. Let's go to Calgary for Vicky Van Chow's Heart of the Lion.
Magnifique. Merci de continuer à honorer et célébrer nos cultures et nos histoires. Nous avons eu un avant-goût des Philippines et maintenant, on allons au Chine via Calgary. Découvrons Heart of the Lion de Vicky Van Cho.
This work comes from the traditional territories of the Blackfoot Confederacy, the Siksika, Kainai, Piikani, and Tsuut'ina, and the Accès Nakota Nations, the Métis Nation, Region 3, and all people who make their homes in Treaty 7.
Cette œuvre provient des territoires traditionnels de la Confédération des Pieds-Noirs, Siksika, Kainai, Piikani, des Tsuut'ina, des nations Accès, Nakota, de la nation métisse de la région 3 et de toutes les personnes qui ont été élues domicile dans la région du traité numéro 7.
Heart of the Lion illustrates the bond between three brothers with their dedication, discipline, and passion on display as they embody the powerful movements of the lion and the fire of the walk hearth.
Heart of the Lion évoque les forts liens entre trois frères, témoignant de leur dévouement, leur discipline et leur passion, alors qu'ils incarnent les mouvements puissants du lion et le feu de l'âtre du wok.
That dance was beautiful, but now I'm just hungry.
Me too.
Welcome, Vicky. Thanks so much for that beautiful shot and evocative piece. Um, Tell us a bit about, the background to it and why the piece is important to you. And we'll just let Delar here translate it here. Go for it.
Yeah, merci beaucoup, Vicky. Moi aussi, j'ai très faim. Expliquez-nous pourquoi ce morceau est aussi important pour vous et pourquoi c'est important pour vous de le partager avec vos spectateurs.
Thank you so much, Nessie. This is sort of the latest short of the film series that combines Chinese culture with food, and food is such an accessible way to access one's culture. So this film was not only a way for me to connect with my own identity as someone who's from the Chinese diaspora, but just to also showcase the local organizations and businesses that help preserve these cultural practices for the community to learn about or to rediscover.
Oui, dans le fond, ce que Lisa nous a partagé, c'est le fait que pour avoir accès à une culture, pour comprendre une culture, on va souvent utiliser la nourriture comme étant un médium, et c'est très vrai. Et justement, la raison pourquoi elle a présenté la nourriture d'une façon aussi importante dans cette vidéo, c'est pour justement aussi mettre en valeur les commerces asiatiques. Donc, c'était cette raison-là. Thank you so much, Lisa. Merci beaucoup.
Thanks, Vicky.
Okay. Très cher public, on espère que vous avez de quoi grignoter pour profiter comme il se doit de notre prochaine pièce. Dirigeons-nous maintenant vers Vancouver, en territoire des Salish, de la côte et des terres ancestrales traditionnelles non cétées des nations Musqueam, Squamish et Tsut'o, où nous accueillons les incroyables artistes interdisciplinaires Cindy Kao et Aisha Dulong pour leur pièce Falling and Gently Catapulted into Nothingness, ou en français, tomber et être doucement catapulté dans le néant.
I think snacks go great with a concert. I've got my hot flakes right here. Let's head over to Vancouver. Why did I do that while I have food in my mouth? The unceded traditional lands of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations, where we have the incredible interdisciplinary artists Cindy Kao and Aisha Dulong falling and gently catapulted into nothingness. Here we go. It's a party up in here. I love experiential music. That was amazing. That was Cindy Cow and Aisha Dulong, some amazing interdisciplinary artists and intersectional artists. They unfortunately couldn't join us for this talk, so we want to bring back the organizers who helped bring them to this this showcase tonight. So please welcome Pat and Letitia from the Pacific Canada Heritage Center Museum of Migration.
Nous allons maintenant donner place à Laetitia et Pat, les organisateurs de ce fabuleux numéro. Hello. Bonjour.
Thank you. I am so glad to see you all and thank you, the CanAsian Arts Network, for the opportunity to represent Vancouver this time. To me, having so many different kinds of arts and styles and different artists joining together, it's just amazing. As Johnny said, it's our third year presenting On the Move, and it's just something that I really appreciate, the possibility to move from coast to coast to coast. And I think that when we are about to close Asian Heritage Month in Canada, I want to say that Asian heritage enriches our lives and nurtures resilience, empowerment, connectivity, and love for everyone. Thank you so much for allowing us to showcase these wonderful artists and the work that Asian Canadians can bring to Canada. Thank you.
Oui, Laetitia nous fait part de sa reconnaissance de la vitrine ce soir et l'importance de vraiment rejoindre tous les artistes asiatiques vraiment à travers tout le Canada. C'est ce qui nous permet, en tant que communauté, de pouvoir rester connectés à travers l'art. Merci beaucoup, Laetitia. Thank you.
Thanks. And Pat, did you want to share some thoughts about some upcoming projects for PCHC as well, or?
You're muted. You're muted.
So you're muted right
I know.
now.
I've been having nothing but technical trouble this whole time.
It's okay.
And I
Happens.
muted myself twice. I heard Letitia twice. And so either I hear nothing or hear an echo. So I'm sorry. I did not hear what Letitia said, and I'm not sure if I would be echoing what she said. We do have currently Hearts of Freedom. So Letitia, would it be suitable for me to mention something about that? Hear my own echo.
Let's stop for a second. Stop for a second. So, Pat, just mute yourself for a moment. Okay. So right now you probably have the stream playing on a browser. Just close the browser and you won't have the echo.
I've closed everything. I don't know.
Okay.
Where am I? Oh, I'm on. Oh, no. Yeah, I closed everything. Like I closed down my emails, everything except this. So I don't see why. No, so I'm very sorry. So Pacific Canada Heritage Center, Museum of Migration Center, is society is a nonprofit, and we endeavor to have a museum. We recently right now we're a museum without walls, and we aspire to have a museum. Currently, we are gathering stories, supporting the voices of the marginalized, Indigenous, seldomly heard, is silence stories and artists. So this weekend, for example, one of our directors has an event at the Italian Cultural Center, which includes many different local artists, Black artists, people with disability, poets, guitarists. So similar to what we're seeing here, only it's local. Hearts of Freedom, on the other hand, is a larger thing. It's a national traveling exhibit, and it is based on the research of on Cambodian, Laotian, and Vietnamese. So I'm not sure if we have those cultures represented today. Stop.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
So Please mute.
Please.
Hey,
Thank you so
everyone.
much, Pat.
This is the nature of, one second, Dara. This is the nature of technology. Sometimes we got a little challenges. So we'll get Dilara to do some translation. But folks, just check out TCHC Museum Migration online. You'll see all the information about Hearts of Freedom and the showcase. But Dilara, take it away.
Oui, merci. Pat, justement, elle mettait de l'emphase sur l'importance de mettre en œuvre et de donner une plateforme aux groupes de personnes marginalisées. Et avec son organisme, qui est un organisme à but non lucratif, ils ont l'intention justement d'ouvrir et d'expansionner leur musée. Donc, on encourage fortement leur projet à venir. Merci beaucoup, Pat. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Pat.
Préparez maintenant vos meilleurs pas de danse. Nous allons dans un instant à Edmonton, dans les territoires du traité 6, les terres des peuples Nahio, Cri, Dene, Anishinaabe, Saulteaux, Nakota Iska, Nakota Sioux et Niitsitapi ou Pieds Noirs. Nous reconnaissons également ce territoire en tant que métis. Du Conseil des arts du Philippines, nous avons Refuge of Love, le réfugié de l'amour, sous la direction de Ida Beltran-Lucila et chorégraphié par Jojo Lucia, en collaboration avec Keoni Tan et en danse et Bola Ma Sekonwi en chant.
I agree. I think it's time for some dancing. Let's head over to Edmonton, found on Treaty 6 territory, the lands of the Neheo, Cree, Dene, Anishinaabe, Saulteaux, Nakota Iska, and Nakota Sioux, and the Niitsitapi, Blackfoot's people. We also acknowledge that this is the territory of the Métis, and from the Philippines Arts Council comes Refuge of Love, directed by Ida Beltran-Lucila, choreographed by Jojo Lucia, featuring Keoni Tan and dancing, and Biola May Saikonui as vocals.
habang ako'y nasa duyan. Nais kong matulog sa dating duyan ko, inay.
That was incredible. Thank you so much, Ida, for being with us here tonight. Let me tell you, and let me ask you actually, what was the creative process behind this? How did you come up with this? I mean, we saw some painting, singing, dancing. It's very interdisciplinary. Please
Yes,
tell us about it.
yes. So, the music Ugoy ng Duyan is a very popular lullaby in the Philippines. In fact, it was made by two national artists for music and for the words, the lyrics. And so it's very popular. And then I'm coming from a pandemic where we all yearning for connection and love, and it personally it resonated for me because I lost my mother last year, and so this is sort of my tribute to her. And so all the artists who were involved, like Beulah, the singer, she sings this regularly to her mother, and so it's very popular. And so the artists that I have worked with, I just made out a call. They all the song resonated with everyone, and they put in the artwork. I wanted representation in the different disciplines, and that's why it came about with this one. So.
Thank you so much. I'm just going to translate it a bit for my French folks here. Alors, Ida, ce qu'elle nous expliquait, c'est le fait que la chanson qu'on écoutait dans ce morceau est une berceuse très populaire aux Philippines. Et justement, pendant la pandémie, Ida a malheureusement perdu sa mère et elle voulait justement créer cette connexion maternelle un peu avec la communauté en ayant attrait justement à cet aspect nostalgique-là. C'est pourquoi ça a été créé. Et elle voulait aussi mettre en valeur, bien sûr, le chant autant que la danse. Thank you so much, Aida. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.
Everyone, call your mom. Thanks so much, Ida. Great. Tonight, so many talented artists across this land coming together to share our stories and what our stories mean. But we're not done yet. We got one more performance for you. Let's head to the Ganegaha Nation in the east, in Jojajay, which is known as Montreal, where CanAsian Arts on the Move started. Let's finish some music. From Festival Accès Asie comes Mariam Tazde and Zia Tabassian, showcasing Iranian music on the tombak, tar, and sitar.
Quelle soirée! Tant d'artistes exceptionnels partageant ce que signifient nos histoires. Mais ne soyez pas déçus, nous n'avons pas encore terminé. Bienvenue dans la nation Kanigaha, à l'est, à Jojagé, également connu sous le nom de Montréal, là où CanAsian Arts on the Move a vu le jour. Terminons par de la musique du festival Accès Asie. Nous avons Mariam Tazde et Zia Tabassian présentant la musique iranienne avec des performances de tombak, tar et le sitar. Wow, this was incredible and extremely impressive. I have a couple of questions for you guys. The first question is, are you guys planning to play or have any shows anytime soon?
I can go. Actually, we will have a show in Montreal we just discussed before in July. I think July 16th in
Okay.
the Garage Concert Series in Montreal. So,
Yeah, very cool.
yes.
Very excited to see you guys there. Also, I was wondering because as we can see, it takes some incredible skills to be able to achieve this. How many hours of training, or when did you guys get started when you started playing these instruments? I imagine it must have taken a lot of hours of work.
Yeah, maybe Mariam, you can
Mariam,
start.
yeah.
Yeah. For the we had a lot of work together before this project, and for this project, I think I I think around 2 weeks together we
Okay.
worked for this project. Yeah.
Okay, around 2 weeks. Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah, but it's a lot of training before these 2 weeks. Like
Yes, we had a lot of before.
When did you guys
Like-
get started? Like, when did you start playing these instruments or learning them?
I started learning instrument around 29-6. When I was a child, I started to learning guitar, and around 29 years.
Oh, okay. Oh, 29 years.
Yes.
That's very impressive.
For me, almost 33 years.
33 years.
Almost 34 years I played tombak.
Thank you. Dans le fond, nos artistes nous faisaient part de le nombre d'années qu'ils ont commencé à jouer cet instrument-là, 29 et 33 respectivement. Et je pense que ça paraît justement dans le travail qu'ils nous ont montré ce soir. Thank you so much. Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Merci. Merci.
Thanks, everyone. It was stunning to watch and witness, and I think it's so important that you're maintaining this practice to pass on this knowledge and culture, right, in the stories. You know what? That's Zara. That's our show.
Yeah.
Let's bring everyone on screen. Who's still here. You want to invite the organizers to turn on their cameras and get in here. All right. Cool.
C'était Arts CanAsian en mouvement. On va demander maintenant à tous nos artistes et organismes d'ouvrir leurs caméras.
Great. We just want to, folks, you can unmute and maybe let's go around and share some thoughts of what's coming up for your projects, your organizations, and your hopes for the CanAsian Arts Network. How about that? Cool. Let's start with Colleen.
Thank you. Well, the Festival Accès Asie in Montreal is currently underway. We have 3 events left in Montreal. So we have 2 tomorrow. We have an in situ dance performance in Chinatown, followed, that's at 2 p.m. and 3:45 p.m. And then in the evening, we have a Kowali concert at Oscar Peterson Hall. And then we have our closing event on Sunday at 2 p.m. at Jardin Gamelin with drum performances by Arachidako and dance by Pamana. Yeah, so I'll let other folks talk about what they have coming up.
Exciting.
Actually, you know what?
Thank you.
I'm gonna kind of Karine. Would you mind sharing that what you just said en français?
En français, of course. Oui, donc il reste 3 activités pour le Festival Accès Asie cette année. Donc demain, on a une performance de danse in situ au quartier chinois à 2h et 3h45. Ensuite, on a un concert Kawali au Oscar Peterson Hall, proche de NDG. Et finalement, on a notre événement de clôture qui a lieu ce dimanche à 2h au Jardin Gamelin, où tout le monde est bienvenu. Puis on va pouvoir célébrer la fin du festival tous ensemble également là-bas. Il va y avoir une performance de Arachidako et ainsi que la troupe de danse Pamana.
Merci beaucoup, Karine. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Oh, and you know what? We might have a few moments with the CanAsian Arts Network Community Growth Consultant, Sean C. Hey, Sean, how you doing?
I'm I'm currently trying to have a feed a toddler right now, so you'll hear some crying in the background. So, but I'm happy to show my face and say hello and thank you everyone so much for everything that they've contributed to today. Yeah, this is the reality of trying to organize with children. So. Yeah. For all those that are thinking of having one, this is
You're raising good humans. Thanks, friend.
Thank
Great.
you so much, Sean.
And we want to give one more shout out to the lovely Pat and Letitia from PCHC, Museum of Migration. Letitia.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, the CanAsian Arts Network. As I said before, this is just a pleasure to see this wonderful talent that we have around the country, and the importance of bringing these people together and make sure that our identities make us more united as a social network. And I'm very glad. I'm very humbled by not just by the talent, but by all the willingness to support the arts and culture, and especially Asian arts and culture in Canada. So thank you very much to all the organizers. I would like to mention all, but thank you very much to all the organizers. And also, just to let you know that this is the way to go if we want to have a society based on respect and tolerance and support and Asian racism. Thank you.
Thank you so much. C'est très inspirant, le message auquel Laetitia nous a fait part pour parler justement de l'importance de célébrer l'art, l'histoire, la tradition et l'héritage asiatique. C'est aussi important aujourd'hui plus que jamais, surtout lorsqu'on veut confronter le racisme envers la communauté asiatique. Donc, merci beaucoup Laetitia pour ce message très inspirant.
That's our show. So thanks so much to all the viewers out there. We talk a lot about amplification, support, and solidarity. And one of the most important ways to do this is through witnessing. So thanks so much for keeping our stories alive, receiving them, holding space for them.
C'était Art CanAsie en mouvement. Merci au public. Nous parlons beaucoup d'amplification de voix, de soutien, de solidarité. Et l'une des façons les plus importantes de faire tout ceci est d'être des témoins et des témoines. Merci de garder nos histoires vivantes, de les recevoir et de leur donner une place.
And along with that, we must thank a lot of folks.
Nous voudrions remercier nos partenaires et tous nos collaborateurs et collaboratrices.
So we acknowledge the support of the Canada Council for the Arts and TD Bank.
Nous remercions le Conseil des arts du Canada de son soutien ainsi que la Banque TD.
And to help Letitia and helping us out, the organizers, shout out to the production team, the Philippines Arts Council, Festival Accès, Asie, InnerGenerational,
Pacific Canada Heritage Center, Museum of Migration, Asian Heritage Month, Manitoba, Poetry Lab,
the CanAsian Arts Network, and our team that helped make this tonight's showcase. So big appreciation to Poetry Lab and Caffeine TV for Brad Morden and Be Weird, who are fantastic poets and artists themselves. And a big special thanks to my dear co-host Delara, who was doing triple duty of wrangling and translating en français and doing work. So it's been a pleasure to share space with you, Delara.
And of course, to yourself, Johnny, thank you so much for being the best co-host and for getting this show together. Thank you.
Thank you. And to our viewers, again, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Please keep the momentum moving forward. Yes, consider becoming a partner of the CanAsian Arts Network. Reach out to the team at info@canasianarts.com. Sean will reply to you and to find out how you can help improve representation for Asian Canadian artists. I always say this when I close, it takes a community to build an artist, whether we resist against it or are nurtured by it. So Let's help build a community of care. Thanks so much.
Et surtout, merci beaucoup à vous, cher public, d'avoir partagé ce moment avec nous ce soir. Si vous avez aimé les représentations de ce soir, envisagez de devenir une ou un partenaire du réseau artistique CanAsie. Contactez l'équipe à info@canasiart.com pour savoir comment vous pouvez aider à améliorer la représentation des artistes canadiens d'origine asiatique. Nous vous remercions et passez une très belle soirée.
Thanks, everyone. This
Thank
again will
you.
be done on YouTube. See you next time.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.